Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz, good morning.
Good morning.
You said Senator Chambliss should apologize for his comments?
Yes, he absolutely should apologize for those comments. And the comments that Senator Chambliss made yesterday are emblematic of exactly what Kieran said yesterday, which is that you have military commanders and you have people in the chain of command who don't have the training or the skills, and quite frankly, who have the perception, like Senator Chambliss obviously does, that these are no big deal, and let's just chalk them up to raging hormones. A sexual assault, whether it's a rape or any other type of sexual assault, is an act of violence. It is not a sex act. It is not the result of passion or desire, and it needs to be treated as the crime that it is. That's why it needs to be taken out of the chain of the command, so that we can have trained prosecutors and a judicial system that actually ensures there is serious accountability and crimes for these crimes, and that we make sure that up and down the chain of command there's a clear understanding that this conduct is absolutely unacceptable and that you will be prosecuted.
And Kirsten Gillibrand's bill does have bipartisan support. We just heard what Kelly Ayotte had to say. We should also point out that Ohio House Republican Mike Turner, who is co-chair of the Military Sexual Assault Prevention Caucus, issued a statement after Saxby Chambliss said what he said. Perpetuating this line of thinking does nothing to help change the culture of our military. We must be focused on combating this issue directly. The numbers speak for themselves. So men and women, Republicans and Democrats, are starting to line up behind this bill. We have not yet heard from the president. We have not yet heard from the Secretary of Defense. Did they need to talk about this? Did they need to come out definitively for this bill or say what it is they think should be done?
Chris, we absolutely have heard from the president. President Obama came out.
But he hasn't said he supports Kirsten Gillibrand's bill, for example, as you just did.
Okay, the president has come out very forcefully and said that this is a horrendous problem that needs to be addressed, that people need to be held accountable, that these are crimes that need to be prosecuted and treated like crimes. And with any set of challenges, the president doesn't comment on every single piece of legislation that gets considered. The legislative process is working its way through, just like with Don't Ask, Don't Tell. That's what had to happen in order for there to have consensus built, and it's very clear that the military chain of command and the leadership in the military seem to always be the last to finally relent and realize that there's a better and other way of doing something to make sure that we can have people serve in the military with dignity, and that they can either be who they are and embrace who they are, or that as women or men they can at the very least not be worried day to day about being victims of sexual assault and there being no response because the person right above them either was the perpetrator or just decided, no, this really wasn't a big problem, because he chalked it up to raging hormones like Saxby Chambliss did yesterday.
Senator John McCain, who of course was not only a war hero but a prisoner of war, had something to say about this yesterday, and I want to play this for you because I thought it was very powerful.
Just last night, a woman came to me and said her daughter wanted to join in the military, and could I give my unqualified support for her doing so. Thanks. I could not. I cannot overstate my disgust and disappointment over the continued reports of sexual misconduct.
What would you say, Congresswoman, to that same mother?
I, as a member of Congress, have the privilege of nominating young people to our military academies every year, and I thankfully have not been asked that question. But if I was asked that question, I would have a similar response to a parent asking if it was a career that a woman in particular should, because this is something that we need to address. It's a serious, deep cancer, as was talked about yesterday, and it needs to be addressed so we can ensure that whether you're a young woman or a young man entering the military, that you don't have to live in fear day to day about being the victim of sexual assault. 26,000 just last year estimated by the military themselves of sexual assaults, and that you will, if you are, God forbid, a victim of that assault, that the military aggressively pursues justice for that individual and doesn't do it through the chain of command right above the individual who was the victim.
Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, it's always good to have you on the program. Thank you.
Chris. Great to be with you.
Today's